The most significant battle you will ever face is the one within yourself. It's not about vanquishing external enemies or adversities, but conquering the weak, impulsive, fearful, and undisciplined version of yourself. This internal conflict defines your potential to achieve greatness or remain shackled by mediocrity. For the Stoics, this struggle was known as the quest for self-mastery, a war between who you are and who you are destined to become. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, taught that your mind is your greatest asset, and through disciplined thought and deliberate action, you can rise above all weaknesses, emotional turbulence, and fleeting impulses. You are not merely a slave to your feelings, but a master of them, and your destiny hinges on this ability to conquer the internal struggle. Every morning, you face a battle between comfort and growth. On one side, there's the weak version of yourself, clinging to excuses. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. These excuses may feel comforting in the moment, but each one builds a wall that keeps you trapped where you are. The weak version of you thrives on this comfort, avoiding challenges that could help you grow. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, believe that true power comes from controlling your mind, not external events. As Marcus said in his meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. And that power is shown through action, not hesitation. It's easy to wait until everything feels right, but the Stoics didn't wait for the perfect moment. They acted regardless of their emotions. So how do you stop making excuses and start acting? First, you need to develop a mindset that doesn't tolerate excuses. Every time you hear that voice telling you, not today, later, or it's too hard, you need to silence it with action. Even small steps, like getting out of bed the moment your alarm rings or starting a task right away, train your mind to reject comfort and embrace discipline. Think of it this way. Imagine you've been putting off a workout because you're tired or busy. Instead of waiting for motivation to hit, what if you just put on your shoes and started moving? You don't need to feel inspired to begin, you just need to act. Each time you act despite the excuses, you weaken the grip that the weak version of you holds on your life. The Stoics weren't about perfection, they were about progress. They knew that the real enemy is not the obstacles outside of you, but the excuses you create in your own mind. So make today the day you kill the weak version of yourself. The moment an excuse arises, meet it with action. Break the cycle of hesitation, and soon you'll find that strength becomes your automatic response. Motivation is like a wave. It comes crashing in when everything feels perfect, and it disappears just when you need it most. If you wait for motivation to kick in before you act, you'll spend most of your time waiting. The truth is, motivation is unreliable. But discipline is your constant companion, whether you're tired, bored, or feeling uninspired. The Stoics didn't depend on motivation to get things done. They built habits that didn't require it. For them, it wasn't about waiting for the perfect moment to feel inspired. It was about doing what needed to be done, whether they felt like it or not. This mindset turned their daily actions into a routine that built their success over time. Think about it. If the greatest athletes only trained when they were motivated, they would never reach their peak. If writers waited for inspiration, they would never finish a book. Discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not about having the right mood. It's about doing what needs to be done consistently. Take someone like Elon Musk. He doesn't wait for motivation. He works because it's who he is. No matter how exhausted or busy, he gets things done because he's built a life around disciplined action. The same can be true for you. Build routines that force you to take action, even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. When you stop waiting to feel inspired and just start, you develop a habit of getting things done, no matter how you feel. One simple way to start is by eliminating hesitation from your mornings. When your alarm rings, get out of bed right away. Don't wait for the motivation to get up. Just act. This small decision will set the tone for your entire day. It's a habit that signals to your mind, I don't wait, I act. The Stoics didn't believe in waiting for the perfect conditions. They understood that the real work is done when it's hardest. It's not about being excited to do something. It's about doing it because it needs to be done. And when you make that shift, you'll find that discipline becomes your foundation. It's not about being motivated. It's about being disciplined, day in and day out. When you make this a habit, you won't need motivation anymore. Discipline will be your default, so stop waiting for motivation. Create systems, build habits, and do the work, whether you feel like it or not. This is how the Stoics lived, and this is how you can start living a life of consistent action and true progress. Imagine a blacksmith shaping a sword. The process is intense. There's heat, pressure, and plenty of hammering. It's painful for the metal, but it's how the blade becomes strong, sharp, and unbreakable. In the same way, life's challenges are like the blacksmith's hammer. The weak person avoids hardship, seeing it as something to escape from. But the strong person knows that hardship is exactly what makes him stronger. It's the pressure, the struggle, and the discomfort that shape him into something greater. The Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius, embraced this idea. Marcus said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In simple terms, every obstacle you face can be turned into an opportunity. When life gets tough, instead of avoiding the struggle, you can choose to see it as a chance to grow. Take the example of the philosopher Epictetus. He was born a slave, suffered greatly, and yet became one of the most powerful voices in Stoic philosophy. His body was physically broken, but his spirit remained unshaken. He didn't see his suffering as something to avoid, but as the very thing that helped him grow stronger. Epictetus taught that it's not the circumstances that shape us. It's how we respond to those circumstances. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So when life throws you a curveball, don't see it as a setback. See it as a chance to grow. Maybe you're facing a tough situation at work or dealing with a personal struggle. Instead of seeing these as barriers, think of them as opportunities to sharpen your mind, build your resilience, and become stronger. The Stoics believed that it's through hardship that we build unshakable strength, both in body and in mind. Remember, the greatest victories in life aren't won by avoiding pain, but by embracing it. The strong are made through facing and overcoming challenges, not through smooth, comfortable paths. So the next time you face difficulty, don't back away. Walk into it. See it as your ally in the process of becoming stronger. We all have emotions: joy, fear, anger, love, sadness. These feelings are a natural part of being human, but the question is, who's in control? You or your emotions? The weak man lets his emotions take over. He acts impulsively when he's angry or gets paralyzed by fear. Later he regrets it, wishing he had thought things through. But the strong person doesn't let emotions dictate his behavior. Instead, he controls his emotions and uses them wisely. The Stoics taught that while emotions are natural, they shouldn't control us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." What does this mean? It means that emotions like anger, fear, or anxiety are fleeting. They come and go. But your ability to manage them is what really determines your happiness and success in life. Let's take a story from ancient Greece. Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, had an incredible ability to control his emotions. He believed in reflecting before reacting. For example, If he felt anger or frustration, instead of immediately reacting, he would take a moment to pause and reflect on his feelings. By doing this, Socrates avoided impulsive decisions that could cause harm. He taught that it's not about suppressing emotions, but about controlling them so they don't control you. Think about a time when you were filled with fear. Maybe you were about to give a presentation or have a difficult conversation. Fear often tells us that we're not ready or that we'll fail. The Stoics knew that this fear is often based on our own imagination, not reality. It's natural to feel afraid, but you don't have to let that fear stop you. Instead of letting fear control you, acknowledge it, but then act anyway. Emotional control is the key to living with purpose. It's about recognizing your emotions for what they are, temporary feelings that come and go. The next time you feel angry or anxious, don't react right away. Pause, ask yourself, is this emotion helping me? Is it true? If it's not, let it go. If it is, use it to fuel your actions in a positive way. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you'll never feel angry or anxious. It means that you choose how to respond. You don't let those emotions dictate your actions. By learning to control your emotions, you take back control of your life. You become the person who acts with purpose, not impulse. So the next time your emotions feel overwhelming, remember the Stoics. Take a deep breath, reflect, and then choose your response wisely. This is the path to true emotional strength. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others. Social media, compliments from friends, and likes on a post can make us feel seen and valued. But what happens when those external sources of validation disappear? How do you feel about yourself when you're not getting that reassurance? The weak version of yourself depends on other people's opinions to feel good, but the strong version of yourself builds self-respect from within. Imagine this. There was a young man, Alex, who always looked to others for approval. He wore the latest clothes, said what he thought people wanted to hear, and made sure he was always in the spotlight. His sense of worth came from others' validation. But despite all the attention, Alex still felt empty. He realized that no matter how much praise he received, it never felt enough. That's when he met an older man who had lived a life of discipline and purpose. This man was not interested in others' opinions. He lived according to his own values. When Alex asked him how he found such peace, the older man said, "True self-respect comes from within. It's not about others approving of you. It's about living according to your values and doing what you know is right, no matter what anyone else thinks." This story reflects the essence of Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, understood this well. He taught that true self-respect comes from living in alignment with your values and principles, not from seeking approval from others. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." In other words, your worth is not determined by how others see you, but by how you see yourself and the actions you take in alignment with your beliefs. True self-respect is not something you ask for. It's something you earn every day through your actions. You don't need anyone's validation to feel worthy when you're living with integrity and consistency. The more you show up for yourself, live by your values, and remain disciplined, the stronger your sense of self-respect becomes. And over time, the world will respect you for exactly who you are. So stop seeking approval from others. Instead, focus on building the kind of person you want to be, someone who lives authentically, with purpose and discipline. When you do this, you'll no longer be chained to the need for external validation. You will become the person who earns respect naturally, simply by living according to your principles. Endurance is the ability to keep going, no matter how difficult things get. It's not about avoiding hardship, but about pushing through it and growing stronger in the process. The weak person gives up when things get tough, while the strong person embraces the struggle, knowing that challenges are opportunities to grow. Think of it like this. You're running a marathon. At the beginning, everything feels good. The excitement and energy keep you going. But as the miles pile up, your legs start to hurt, your mind gets tired, and you feel like quitting. That's where endurance comes in. The person who keeps going is the one who understands that pain is temporary and that every step forward is progress. It's not about running without pain. It's about knowing that the pain will pass and the reward is worth it. The Stoics understood this perfectly. They didn't just survive hardships. They saw them as opportunities to become stronger. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The obstacle on the path becomes the way." This means that every obstacle in life can be seen as a chance to improve yourself. Whether it's a tough job, a difficult relationship, or personal challenges, these hardships are part of the journey to becoming a better person. Take the story of Thomas Edison, for example. He faced thousands of failures before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was a lesson, not a setback. Edison didn't quit because things got hard. He welcomed the difficulty, understanding that every failure brought him one step closer to success. "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," he famously said. This kind of endurance, this ability to keep going no matter how tough things get, is what leads to success. Endurance isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving in the face of adversity. When you face challenges, instead of running from them, embrace them. Understand that every tough situation is a chance to build your mental and emotional strength. The Stoics believe that true strength is developed in the heat of adversity, not in the moments of comfort. So when life challenges you, remember that it's not the hardships that define you, but how you handle them. Don't run away from the struggle. Embrace it, learn from it, and become stronger because of it. The ability to endure hardship without giving up is what separates the strong from the weak, and it's what leads to lasting success. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to avoid being alone. We fill every quiet moment with distractions, checking our phones, watching TV, or seeking validation from others. The weak person fears being alone. He worries about the silence, and instead of embracing it, he tries to drown it out. The strong person, however, understands the power of solitude. Solitude isn't about being lonely. It's about creating a space where you can connect with yourself, think clearly, and reflect on who you are. This is where real strength is developed. It's in solitude that you can face your fears, doubts, and weaknesses without distractions. It's in these quiet moments that you truly grow. The Stoics knew this well. They saw solitude as essential for self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, would retreat into quiet spaces to reflect and think deeply about his life. He didn't need constant noise to keep him busy. He understood that in silence, you find clarity and peace. He once said, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more trouble-free retreat than in his own mind." This is the power of being alone, finding peace within yourself. Imagine a time when you were overwhelmed or uncertain. What would happen if you took a step back and spent a few moments in quiet reflection? It's in solitude that you learn who you truly are and what you want from life. Without this time to yourself, you risk living a life based on others' expectations, not your own. Your legacy is not about what you accumulate or how many people admire you. It's about how you live your life. It's about the actions you take, the values you uphold, and the way you treat others. The Stoics understood that by living a life of virtue, focused on integrity, discipline, and constant self-improvement, you build a legacy that endures long after you're gone. So don't waste your time chasing fleeting pleasures or the approval of others. Instead, focus on building a life that reflects who you truly are. Every day you're writing the story of your legacy, The true mark of a strong person is how they live, how they handle adversity, and how they leave the world better than they found it. The legacy of strength is built not by avoiding hardship, but by facing it head-on and using it to become the best version of yourself. What will your legacy be? Start building it today. Incorporating these Stoic principles into daily life is not just about surviving, but thriving. It's about pushing beyond your limits, mastering your emotions, and building an unbreakable mindset. With discipline, endurance, and a warrior's mentality, you can forge yourself into the person you were always meant to be. This is the Stoic path, a journey of relentless self-improvement and mastery over yourself.